I'm tired of shit.
It's been a week already.
I'm tired, man.
Yeah.
Just got back from LA. Had a long day of work yesterday.
Nice.
I was very excited to have this conversation, though.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is like my therapy.
Okay.
You get to put me in place and tell me what I get to do wrong and what I'm not doing wrong or what I'm doing right, whatever.
So, I just share my thoughts about things that you ask me, and sometimes it's good advice. I wouldn't take any of it with a grain of salt because, it's just my thoughts. I'm clearly fucked up. So getting advice from me.
You seem to be the more mature one out of both of us lately.
I'd like to think I have a level head about certain things, but, to each their own. As long as you're happy, that's all that matters.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. How you doing today? You good?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. We're getting close to the weekend. I'm going to head home to the Bay Area. Looking forward to seeing the fam and, just spending some time and being around them. And then I'll be back and get ready for the next weekend, which is, Labor Day weekend? Memorial Day?
Labor Day
I
weekend?
I'm confused. Labor Day weekend, September, Memorial in May. So
That's always crazy here in Vegas because it's like the last hoorah for everybody before the change of seasons. Like here,
at least Halloween in Vegas.
Halloween's crazy.
I remember coming here a couple times for Halloween. And
Halloween is crazy. The Thursday of Thanksgiving, that's nuts.
I won't be here for that. I'm gonna be out of town.
You go back home all the time. Well, I'm not knocking it though.
I'm gonna be in Mexico actually, Mexico City.
Wow, really?
The Niners play the
is right.
That week, the week of Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
You're going to the game in 2 weeks, though, right?
Go to Chicago. Yeah, I'm going to the opening week 1 in Chicago. So, like I said, all my Niner fans, if you catch me out there, first drinks is on E-Rock. I got the corporate card. So
the hot box, you got the hot box prepaid.
We're ready to go.
Amex card that you can buy.
What was the rush card?
The rush.
I got a rush card loaded up.
I'm putting $50 on that. Yeah, have fun. Don't spend it in one place.
I got you. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Football season is finally fucking here.
Yeah. How do you like Trey Lance?
I love him. I mean, so far, what's not to love? I mean, he has all of the ability in the world. He has a great system around him. He has fantastic, teammates to support him, to elevate his game. He's in a perfect situation to succeed. Now, with that said, it's going to be ugly this year. It's not going to be he's Hall of Fame bound after year one. It's going to be a up and down season. You're going to see there's going to be some moments where you're the people that are gonna be screaming on the talking heads will be screaming on Twitter, we should have kept Jimmy G, but then there's gonna be moments where you're like, damn, he does a lot of things that Jimmy G could only dream of doing.
Well, some people are actually saying that he's gonna make a run for the Super Bowl, that we're gonna go all the way to the ship.
I mean,
and Trey Lance is gonna take the league over by storm. That is what I'm seeing on social media.
I wouldn't put it all to say Trey Lance is going to do this and this. Yes, granted, he plays the most important position in all of sports, and you can't go anywhere without the success of your quarterback. But anytime you have a defense that is as special as what the 49ers have this year, and you have a head coach who's as much of a genius as Kyle Shanahan is, and defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans, who's done a fantastic job since Robert Saleh left to New York. There's an opportunity for the team to do well, regardless of who the quarterback is. Obviously, the Niners with Jimmy G essentially were in the one game away from the Super Bowl, and then in the Super Bowl, in 2 of the full 3 years that, he was essentially a full-time starter. So, yeah, he has everything around him with the opportunity to succeed, but at the end of the day, he still got to go out there and do it. But, again, I think Kyle Shanahan is a genius. He will scheme and call plays that will put him in a position to succeed with minimal opportunity to fuck shit up. And, he still will. Like I said, he's essentially a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. There's going to be games and moments where you're going to be completely frustrated.
There's definitely a trial and error process that we're going to see.
But just believe in the long-term plan, and, I think everything's going to work out. But, I think that he has the ability and will be a fucking special, special player.
I'm excited.
Same, man. I already bought my Trey Lance jersey, and I don't buy quarterback jerseys.
I actually was before I actually got here to the studio. I was actually looking into buying a Trey Lance jersey.
I bought mine. I never ever buy 49er quarterback jerseys. Not since Steve Young. I've never owned anybody's jersey. Never owned a Jeff Garcia jersey. Never owned a Tim Rattay or a fucking Colin Kaepernick. Even a Jimmy G. the 49er quarterback position is just something that is just so
sacred.
It's sacred. Exactly. It is. It's just one of those things where, you know, you got to earn the right. But I believe in the hype, and I fucking said, fuck it. I haven't bought a 49er quarterback jersey since I was a kid. I'm rocking with Trey Lance from day one. So I got my Trey Lance jersey. I'll be rocking it week one in Chicago. So, you know, I'm going to be out there representing.
I like that. Man, let's get into some of these topics.
Yeah, we got some good stuff this week.
Got
I know
some good
last
topics.
week was, you know, a little bit on the different side, but...
I mean, the news cycle was kind of negative, and we were just like,
and oddly enough, it's to this date is our best performing episode.
Oh my God. We had nothing to talk about, and like literally we get like what I want to say it's almost like a 2,000 views right now.
I mean, just on the YouTube, not even counting, you know, the Spotify and the iTunes and all the other places that people are consuming the podcast. So I guess people are trying to say, Kev and E-Rock, shut the fuck up. Basically, like, just shut up. And you know.
I think they were in love with the other Kev on the episode, which is Kevin Gates.
I got kind of excited. I was like, Kevin.
Kevin's the GOAT. Kevin is this. Give this man Kevin his flowers. And you're sitting there going like, man, they fuck with me.
I'm like, they knew it. I told you, E-Rock. Nah. But yeah, that episode was great. And, you know, again, shout out to Kevin Gates for being just so open and talking about stuff that still has a, you know, somewhat of a stigma. And, you know, I think, again, mental health is something that's not going to go away. The more we talk about it, the more we can kind of break through and everybody will be better for it.
No, for sure. And you know, I want to say that there were a lot of things that he mentioned on there that were very inspirational. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I don't think I can laugh at it now because, you know, Kevin Gates does a lot of yoga. And he was like, yo, man, in the episode, he was like, hey, I thought yoga was for pussies. But man, it's the most mental clearing shit that I do. And, you know, now I'm actually looking for a good yoga spot out here in Vegas. So, hey, if you're watching this, you're listening to this, if you know of any spot that I need to go actually and get into yoga or whichever, someone that could teach me the ropes or whatever, let me know. All right, let us know. It's at the Hot Box. What is it? The Hot Box _ pod. Yeah. I don't know why I always get that wrong.
It's all good. Just shout out your own Instagram. That would have been easier, but sure, fine.
All right, Usher. He is in the headlines right now, and he's saying that he accepts the title of King of R&B. Now, R&B is a very
broad term.
It's a very broad term, but then again, like, we've had some tense conversations on R&B, and I feel like, you know, sometimes we see eye to eye on it, but how do you feel about this right here? Usher, King of R&B as of today.
Are we, as of today?
He says he's the last of his kind.
100%.
100%, okay.
I agree. Okay. I agree undoubtedly. It is not even close. Usher is the king of R&B. I would have said that the man who shall remain nameless, who's in jail for a lot of things, probably could have, you know, had a claim for that throne.
He could have stepped
his name into that. But as you know, he's no longer in the conversation. Usher has dominated his field for 30 fucking years. The guy can do no wrong. He has records that will play, you know, in the Smithsonian one day. And, you know, I couldn't agree more. I don't know of anybody. Now, there's artists that I think are, you know, up there in terms of talent wise. Yeah. But in terms of consistency, longevity, what that man has done, I don't think anybody's touching Usher.
And he still has strong knees. Have you seen him dance on stage at this Vegas show?
I haven't, but I'm actually going next week.
Wow.
And I am going
to date night or what?
No. It's a little another family trip. Some of the homies from the Bay are coming out.
I just be putting you on blast every time.
I mean, trust me, if I had a date, I'd let you know, but it's dry, bro. It's dry. It is dry.
Okay, so you agree that he is the king of R&B.
100%.
He's got hits after hits. I mean, the guy has a show here in Las Vegas, and it's amazing. Everyone that goes there, they tell me like, hey, you have to see this show. It's crazy.
It's crazy. He's out there on roller skates, rolling around, and I was actually talking to my homegirl Sam. She's from New York. She works for the label, and she went to the show a couple weeks ago, and she said that the show is like 2.5 hours, 2 hours or 2.5 hours or something like that.
That's longer than Bruno.
Bro, Bruno's show was like 80 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal. But that's what I'm saying. Usher got that kind of catalog. Like if you go to an Usher show,
insane.
It's nuts. You know, like I said, again, for as long as he's done it and what he's done, nobody's touching Usher. I give him the crown. He's the king of R&B.
All right, so that argument is not even existent. Usher is the king of R&B as of today.
Yeah, as of right now, of those living who are relative, Usher's the king.
I like that. I like that. Go see the show out here in Vegas if you ever make your way out there. All right. Are you familiar with this whole entire Payless price prank?
Pay less price.
Yeah,
prank.
say that 10
Yeah,
times
right.
fast.
Seriously,
Jesus Christ, man.
Pay less price prank. No, I have not. I have no idea what
All
that
right,
is.
so there's this video circulating all over the internet right now, and it's fucking quite amazing. Basically, Payless, they
The shoe company?
the shoe company, Payless Shoes.
I used to rock with Payless. Tough.
Yeah, so hey, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
They actually they built a store out. I
Right.
want to say in Beverly Hills, and they created this really bougie brand, and they made this whole entire fuss about this is such a high end store and this and that. Invited a fuck ton of influencers. They had a whole bunch of people come in and spend hundreds of dollars
On Payless shoes.
on Payless shoes, but they didn't tell them that these shoes were from Payless.
That's genius. I mean,
It's genius.
Payless always made a name for themselves by designing shoes that were relevant to what was hot at the moment, but at a fucking extremely discounted price. I mean, I didn't grow up privileged in the sneaker game. Like I said, I didn't get into sneakers heavy until I was early on in high school, and I got a job at Foot Action in Serramonte, and then it was only then the first pair of Jordans I ever got, I bought myself, and then my affinity and love for sneakers just grew from there. But my entire childhood, I was not given any type of good sneakers. All of my shoes came from Payless. And remember when shell toes were super big? This was probably 95, 96. They had that kind of resurgence.
Damn, yeah.
After the whole 80s.
Well, it's when people were breakdancing and
Right.
their,
But all of
their
the Adidas
pants.
shit kind of came back in that that early
Fat
90s.
laces.
Right.
Holy
Exactly.
shit, yeah.
Adidas is with the fat laces. And superstars were the shit, and I couldn't even. Those weren't even Jordan prices, but those were still, more than my family was able to spend money on. So I went to Payless, and we got the fake bootleg Adidas superstars, and they had four stripes. They had four stripes instead of three. And I had a cousin, my cousin Brian, who was a little bit older than me, that had a little X-Acto razor blade knife, and we would take our shoes and cut one of the stripes off so that we could. The only thing that was fucked up is that the stripes were thinner. They weren't as wide. They were not as wide.
So when
as
you
the
took
Adidas
off that
one.
fourth stripe, it was a big gap right there.
It was
Pause,
it was
by the
three
way.
stripes, but they just weren't Adidas stripes. But yeah, man,
Weren't centered. That's
you,
for sure.
You're never gonna hear anybody. You're never gonna hear me say anything bad about Payless, man. They were doing some cool shit back then. So I could totally see how people would fall for it because they. A lot of their stuff outside of sneakers,
Their heels,
women's shoes,
and women's shoes,
pumps, stilettos, all that shit. You would never know the difference. And that's honestly, let's be honest. We're talking, you talk about designer stuff and all that. They're made in the same factories. They're made with the same material. Now, granted, there's might be some, level of, the material being a better quality or whatever. At the end of the day, they're still making these shoes for this fucking pennies on the dollar. We're just the idiots that consume the shit.
People were buying these pairs of shoes for over $400 to
crazy.
$600.
That's crazy.
And bragging about it while they were being interviewed. Hey, are you happy with this pair of shoes? And why did you make your way out here, all the way out here to Beverly Hills to get this? They're like, oh, I would pay $600-700 for these, but I'm getting them for $400.
Hype beast culture.
Oh my
That's
God.
what it is, man.
They
Hype beast culture.
fell for it
Wow,
all.
that's hilarious. That's great marketing for Payless. If they're
Huge.
considering I don't know if they're even still in business or maybe this was a marketing campaign to see if or a pilot to test if they had a viable market. But it's fucking genius. It's
the most
literally
genius shit I've seen, man. If you have not seen that video on Instagram, I'm probably gonna post it in our story on the hotbox_pod on our Instagram right after this episode.
All right, check it out.
Yeah. We always talk about how Las Vegas needs a baseball team, how the Oakland A's were gonna come here. We had Bonta on here. Bonta Hill.
Yep.
He was on here not too long ago, and we talked about if the A's were to ever make it to to Vegas and whatnot. But there's a rumor right now that there is another team that might make their way to the desert. And that is after the Los Angeles Angels. I always call them the Anaheim or California Angels.
They're the Angels.
Come on, let's just be honest, man. I know we have a lot of people that watch this this pod, like, from Los Angeles. Let's be real, dude. LA is a Dodger town, man. Like, they need to leave anyways.
The
no
Dodgers?
matter what.
Yeah, they do.
No, not the Dodgers. I'm saying the Angels. The Angels, they're not even second fiddle. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not
no
even
fiddle.
existent.
No, they're not. But, the Angels, I mean, first of all, fuck the Angels. Let's be honest, because Rally Monkeys, 2000, Russ Ortiz, Dusty Baker, stripped my man Barry Bonds, the greatest baseball player of all time forever, for winning his only opportunity to get a World Series ring. So I will forever hate the Angels regardless.
I cried when that moment happened.
That
by
was
the way.
fucking horrible. It was literally horrible. I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, fuck the Angels and the Rally Monkeys. But no, I mean, yeah, the owner I think is starting to put feelers out there, or starting to talk about that he potentially might sell the team. That they would be the next sports franchise to go up for sale. The Denver Broncos just sold, and now apparently the LA Angels are going to be up for sale. They're valuing that it could be anywhere between $4 and $5 billion. Which
is that expensive for a baseball team or no?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit on the higher end, but I think the only reason why you're paying a premium is because of the LA name and the brand. It's like a bigger market.
Yeah. If
it was the LA, or it was like the Oklahoma City Angels, probably not.
I mean, but still, like I said, like, it's a Dodger town. Like,
they don't play in LA.
Yeah.
They call themselves the LA Angels, but they still play in Orange County. They still play in Anaheim. They're still right next to Disneyland.
It's bullshit.
It is. But yeah, I mean, cool. If they want to come to Vegas, I mean, we'll take them. I mean, there's plenty of people out here that will support them. I will not. Never, ever.
I mean, you gotta. I mean,
I'll go to a game because it'll be something cool to do.
Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani, they're exciting players to watch,
Shohei
bro.
will not be on the team next year.
You don't think so?
No, that's a fact. They could have already extended him. They almost traded him this year at the deadline. He's not going to be on the team. Mike Trout's stuck there because he has a ridiculous contract, and unfortunate because the guy's one of the most gifted and talented baseball players probably ever. But
they've wasted so much of his career.
Well, he's wasted his own career. He can't stay healthy. Unfortunately, he's always dealing with injuries, and the best ability is availability. So unfortunately, he guy just can't stay healthy and stay on the field and play 130, 140 games a season. And that's really kind of put a damper on what his potential could be. And Ohtani, he's fucking great. He's not going to be there though. He'll probably be a Yankee or a fucking Dodger.
I think he's probably going to be a Yankee. That's for sure.
Yankees or Dodgers. They're going to be in on everybody.
So yeah, I mean, that's the rumor apparently that they are eyeing Las Vegas as a target city. But here's another thing. It gets better. Actually, I'm hearing that even Joe Lacob, Warriors owner Joe Lacob, is actually looking at potentially maybe even entertaining the deal because he's always wanted a baseball team.
Yeah, Mark Cuban too. Mark Cuban tried to buy the Chicago Cubs years ago, and the MLB was like, nope, we're not having it.
I wonder if that's a conversation that's going to get pretty far though.
If Joe, let me put it this way: if Joe Lacob is serious and he really wants to buy the team, he will get the team.
You think so?
Why not? He's got the money to do it.
I mean, he had the money when he wanted to buy the A's,
but the A's aren't for sale.
Well, no, but he made a standing offer.
Well, yeah, but they're that's just a whole nother conversation. The A's are just they're a fucking shit show. They're a mess. But if he wants the Angels and he's serious about it, he'll get them because he got deep pockets and now he has a track record of demonstrating that he could take a team who historically has just been atrocious and built them into the most important dynasty in all of the NBA.
Yeah.
So that would be crazy. It would
be weird.
It would be weird. Well, the other
Bay Area team.
The other owner of the Warriors, Peter Gruber, he's a LA guy.
Yep, that is true. Yeah.
I mean, they already kind of have ties to LA through that. It would be tough because I have no doubt in my mind that Joe Lacob would turn that team around in a blink of an eye and they would instantly be a contender. Luckily, they're not in the National League. They play in the American League, so it wouldn't be anything to us. A's fans will have to deal with it. But however many A's fans are left, the 2,200 that are still showing up to baseball games. But
maybe even less.
In other baseball news, they just announced the schedules for next season, and the San Francisco Giants are opening their season in New York at Yankee Stadium next year.
Holy shit.
So that could be dope. My boy already hit me, was like, we got to go to the Giants Yankees next year. And I'm like, let's pump the brakes. I'm like, the Giants are dog shit. They have been playing like dog shit all year. They've done really nothing to improve this roster. So before I commit to going to New York and watching them play,
they got to make some
let's see what they do in the
considerable moves.
Yeah. Let's see what they do in the offseason, which could be interesting because, you know, the whole rumor is that, you know, they didn't sign Aaron Judge because, you know, the Yankees and him couldn't come together basically on a contract term. So there's potential that him and or Giancarlo Stanton could become available this offseason. Is that the Giants' master plan? Is that what they've been kind of pinching pennies for the last couple years to get some of these shitty contracts that they have off the books, like Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford and Evan Longoria? Once those contracts come off the book, they got a shit ton of money. Is that the plan? They're going to, you know, go on a spending spree and try to get one of these big bats. We'll see. If that happens,
I don't think that they're going to land Giancarlo Stanton.
I don't think they're going to land anybody. Nobody wants to come play for the Giants anymore. They're not a destination like that. You have extremely high taxes.
Yeah.
It's cold. The ballpark is not right-hander hitter friendly. And there's nobody in, like Bonte said when we had him on, you're going to come to the Giants, and who's going to bat behind you? Who's going to protect you? The reason why Rich Aurelia, Jeff Kent, and Barry Bonds were so effective all those years they were together, because they were three dominant hitters that were all hitting right, you know, next to each other.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds had the protection of Rich Aurelia. Jeff Kent had the protection of Barry Bonds. Like, that's what made that lineup so potent. The Giants have who right now? You know what I mean?
It's embarrassing.
It is, and we don't need to talk about the Giants. We don't need
It's
to turn
just going to depress me. It's going to piss me off.
We don't
again.
need to talk about it. We don't need to, you know, do a whole sports podcast. We could do that all day, every day. But that could be potentially exciting. Next year, the Giants opening up at Yankee Stadium. I'll probably be there.
I know we have a lot of ladies that listen to the podcast.
Yeah,
and,
ladies love sports, though.
No, ladies love sports.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what they do love about the San Francisco Giants. They love Gabe Kapler.
Man, shout out to
They love Gabe
Shout out to my
Kapler.
homegirl, Katia.
I've got friends that are just like, yo,
You could get
Giants are dog shit, but hey, what's good with the manager? Do you know him? I'm like, I don't know him.
Yeah, man.
I don't.
That's
you know,
that is definitely a thing, man. But yeah, I mean, sure, whatever. It's cool. Cool. Good for the ladies. Good for the ladies to have something to cheer about. Because
ladies got something to cheer
there's
about.
not much that the Giants have given us this year to be excited about. That's for sure.
In other news right here, Nick Cannon reveals that Brittany Bell is pregnant with their third baby. That's going to be his 10th child.
Yeah.
He's doing the Lord's work. He's
on to his
procreating
he's on
like no tomorrow.
Now. He's ran out of fingers to count. But
10 kids. You know, I saw him, and shout out to our friend Chuck. We know him as Charles Kelly. Chuck,
CKDDSF.
Yeah, from Done Deal. You know what I mean? I saw them over the weekend. Got some good FaceTime. But I was like, damn, man. I looked at Nick. I was like, how are you awake with all these kids right now? You got to be tired, my man.
He's active.
I do what I do. I do what I do.
I will say, I mean, I know people that are around him and whatnot, and everybody says like he's a very present father. Like he doesn't miss anything. So like his schedule must be crazy. But
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's very involved in all of his children's lives. He obviously has the means to support, these children and the mothers of these children. So hey man, God bless him. What's the difference between 9 and 10? Who cares? He could go 10, 11, 12, 13. It doesn't matter at this point. He got so many of them. I mean, once it's like after 3, it's like, all right, fuck, man. I got to figure this shit out.
I can't even get one.
Knock on wood.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
E-Rock over here just
I'm just
everybody
saying, man.
blanks.
I'm just saying, man. Like, yo, my man's got 10 kids.
Hey, God bless him.
10 kids, and he's present. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's dope. He's there for all the maternity shoots. He's there for all of the.
He's there for all
first
of
day of school.
Is tapped in.
Good for him, man. That's dope.
Have you had any thoughts, like, when you would probably have, like, your first child or anything?
It's in God's hands, man. That's the way
it's in God's hands.
100%. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this is the way I look at it. Obviously, in my younger years, I've dodged a couple sketchy situations.
We all do, I think.
Right, but I'm 40 years old now, and I'm not gonna have a kid just for the sake of having a kid. Do I want children? Absolutely. But I feel like, whenever it's meant to be, it will happen. I'm not going to just have a kid just to have a kid. Like, I want to have a family. I don't want to have just a child and my child's mother. Like, that's not where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So
I think about it all the time, man. And I think a lot about it because of the fact that, like, my father passed away in 2011. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
And my mom is just on me about it.
Yeah.
On me, like, yo, are you going to continue your father's bloodline? And then when they put it out like that, it becomes a lot of pressure, way more pressure than just like, hey, it'd be nice to have a child. Like, no, this is like literally like
your lineage is on the line.
Your dad's legacy is on the line. So I think about it a lot, especially as of lately. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm in my 40s now, and you know, I mean, the music will stop and the party will definitely end at some point,
will.
you know? So, you know,
somebody got to take care of your ass when you're old, man.
I know, man. These puppies, bro.
Yeah, they're not going to be there to take care of you.
They're not going to help me get the groceries out the door.
They are not.
You know what I mean? Or out the car. I'm sorry. You know, they're not going to definitely.
That's a temporary fix right there.
Yeah. So, like, I've been thinking about it a lot. We'll see if anything transpires, though, because it is a lot of work.
When it's meant to be, it will happen, man. That's the way I look at it.
Have you ever been put in a situation where your significant other, when you had one, and that's not a jab, by the way,
none taken. Not many significant others to choose from. So,
but has anyone ever put you in a position to where it's like, yo, we gotta have a kid?
Absolutely not.
We gotta have one. Time's
Absolutely
ticking.
not.
This and that.
Nope.
Never. Really?
Never.
Wow.
Never. I think the few relationships that I've been in, we were all on the same page that we weren't ready for kids. I mean, granted, it's been a very long time since I've been in relationships. So this was when, you know, I and the ladies that I were in relationships with were a lot younger. So we weren't ready to have kids anyway. And honestly, my entire life, I've always been very undecided on kids, even at some points in my life where I said I didn't want kids. It's only been recently, like within the last few years of my life kind of changing and me being able to be more, you know, successful in things and be able to kind of check off the boxes of adulting, that I've been like, okay, now I feel like I'm in a good place where I could not only have kids, but I could be present, I could support them and give them the life that I want to give them. You know what I mean?
I think that was the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Why I held off for so long.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, like I wanted to reach my potential.
Right, for sure.
I wanted to be the best version of myself, or at least close to something like that, to be able to give these kids or kid, you know, the best life possible. 100%. You know? So that's a big thing, especially for a man. You know, like you want to make sure that you're able to do what you need to do.
I think everybody
can do what he needs to do.
I think everybody's, you know, parental goals in life are to provide for their children and provide them a life that was better than the life they had, regardless of whatever that life was, whether you grew up poor, whether you grew up, you know, middle class or wealthy. You know, you want to provide that, you know, that level up for your children. And, you know, like I said, up until, you know, the last, you know, 5, 6, 7 years, I'd never felt like I was, you know, ready to do it. And granted, people have kids all the time that they're not ready for, and you adapt and you make shit happen. But, you know, like I said, it's been this long. I've been responsible enough to not have any accidents or anything like that. So I don't plan on doing it. If I can have a child in the right situation with the right person, I would love it and I would welcome it.
And for those that don't know, I have a radio show that airs on Real 92.3 in Los Angeles every Saturday night, 10 to 12. But
you got the Vegas show too, man.
Yeah, I got the Vegas show here on Real 103.9. But I mean, we're on the radio like 24/7 out here.
International.
So that's, you know, that's a blessing, by the way. I love the fact it never gets old, man. When I'm in the car and I hear, like, you know, those sweepers, it's like,
you mean every 5 minutes when you hear the fucking sweeper?
Every 5 minutes. I love it. But yeah, you know, I mean, I've got a lot of traction on this one question, but actually, you know, it just hit me that you have a question this week, right?
Yeah. So my coworkers and I, every week we have like a team meeting online, and my boss always asks like a question of the week. Sometimes he'll throw it out there and say, "Hey, it's your turn to ask a question," or whatever. So I was tasked with making up a question. I can't put that sentence together. I was tasked with coming up for a question that I needed to ask the team, and my question was,
oh, here we go, drum roll.
No, it's nothing bad, but
okay.
it's there's no right or wrong answer, but it'll just make you think. Would you rather travel to your past and meet your ancestors, or travel to the future and meet your descendants?
God damn, Kev.
It's a thinker. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. But like, again,
how did you answer this?
Would you rather go to the past, and you can go back 2, 3, 4, 5 generations, whatever you want, and meet your ancestors and see where you came from? Or would you rather travel to the future 2, 3, 4, 5 generations and see,
that's a tough one,
you know, what your offspring kind of created? And you answer, and then I'll tell you how I answer.
I would probably travel to the future.
Okay.
I would definitely travel to the future. And I want to see like
all the dogs,
all the dogs, all their puppies and whatnot. They're all neutered. They can't even have kids. But like I mean, obviously, since we were talking about like procreating and stuff like that, like if I were to have a child in the next like year or two, like I would like to see like your where
grandkids,
my great grandkids. I mean, hey, look, I'm trying to take care of myself to where I can physically be there for that. You know what I mean? But I think that would be more interesting than seeing my ancestors, just because of the fact I feel like I don't know. My parents and my grandparents have done a good job in making sure that I knew about where I came from. Like I know like all my great grandparents' names and all that stuff, how they passed away, their stories, how they came to how they met, like, their significant others and how I came here today. So they've done a great job. And I feel like that's been like drilled in my head.
That's dope.
For a long time. So I can tell you everything, like literally drop of a dime like that. So I would definitely, for sure.
That's tight.
Travel to the future to see
your descendants.
My descendants.
Like I said, there's no right or wrong.
My lineage.
Answer. Yeah,
my legacy.
There's no right or wrong answer. I answered the opposite way. I said that I would rather go back to the past and meet my ancestors, because I think a part of self-discovery and knowing about myself, I could learn a lot about myself from seeing where my family came from and meeting, my great-great-grandfather, even my great-grandfather I never met. I never met any of my great-grandparents. I've only, had my grandparents. So I think even meeting them and, going back to, 1850 in Italy and kind of seeing like, I just think it would be dope, like to just see the kind of the history of it and how their lives were and all that. And I think from that, I would learn more about just my family overall and have a better understanding of why I am the way I am with certain things. And, maybe there's something that I recognize like, oh shit, that's where I got that from.
Like, that's where I got my sarcasm from.
Or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my sense of humor came from. Or like, oh, I have my great-great-great-grandmother's eyes, or, just something like that. I think it would be cool. Either, like, again, there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, no wrong or right
But for
answer.
me, as a history person who loves history and all that, I think it would just be really cool to go, like, even taking the family stuff outside of it. If someone said you could travel 200 years in the past or 200 years in the future, I'd go 200 years in the past.
That's
just because I think it would be kind of cooler to kind of experience. And plus, you also have an idea of what life was like back then.
For sure.
You hit a button in 200 years in the future, and who knows? You could be floating around in a bubble somewhere, and like just with a screen. It's kind of
fire, though. If you think
I'm just saying, you just never know. But yeah, people out there, we'll ask you the same question. If you want to comment, interact with us, let us know your thoughts. If you could have the option to either go in the past and meet your ancestors, or go to the future and meet your descendants, which would you choose? So let us know. Comment below in the YouTube page. You can message myself, DJ E-Rock, on Instagram at Box Kev, at DJ E-Rock, at the @hotbox_pod. Hit us up on Twitter, but would love to know what your guys' thoughts and your reasoning on why you would decide one way or the other.
I like that. That was a great question.
Yeah, man.
That was a great question.
Honestly, it is hella funny because whenever we do these team calls, it'll be, not to say that their questions are stupid, but they're very elementary. Sometimes like a coworker will go on there and be like, does pineapple belong on pizza? And I'm like, oh fuck, man, here it comes. Thanks for the brain buster. You know what I mean? But like, I put some thought into it, and I'm like, look, this is a question that I think, would really take some thought. And like, again, you can feel one way one day, and the next day you'd be like, you know what, it'd be cool the other way. But again, like, share your thoughts, let us know what you think.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a 49er game in like an hour, so I think we need to get out of here.
Yes, we do.
And you did tell me, like, hey, man.
I need to get out of here.
As long as we do this episode, and it's got to be 30, 40 minutes, and I'm good.
It's not even fucking on TV because...
It's not?
Nah, the first two preseason games were on TV out here locally, but this one I think is an Amazon Prime exclusive, so you have to watch it on Amazon. You got to stream it.
Amazon's
Amazon.
hot.
Actually,
I have Amazon.
We'll save this topic for another time, but... Fuck Amazon. I got a fucking personal pickle and a beef with them.
Pause.
No pause. Fuck them. I got a beef with Amazon. But if anybody out there works for Amazon, please hit me up because I need your help with something.
I used to work for Amazon.
Yeah, well, you couldn't help me with this situation.
I used to work for Amazon. I got laid off though.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, man. Niners kicking off against the Houston Texans in the preseason finale. Trey Lance will play. How much? We'll find out.
Half the game. That's what he's saying.
Nah, they said less than that.
No, less than that.
It's the most updated stuff. Is
I think he's doing that so people can't get a read on it.
It doesn't matter. It's preseason. There's no read. They're not running anything that's going to be used in the real season. It's fucking very, very scripted and safe.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we are out of here, and we do this every single week whenever we can get to it because obviously Kev's got a busy schedule. I've got a busy schedule. Sometimes I'm hungover. Sometimes I'm.
Sometimes E-Rock wakes up in the middle of the night and decides to post an episode at fucking 1:30 in the morning for no reason.
And it's our most viewed episode ever.
Rhyme or reason.
Ever. It's like at 2,000 views right now. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so yeah, and also like, hey, we talked about mental health. Please, like, if you got some time, go back an episode and go watch the Kevin Gates episode. He really, really, put us on some really good game on just like, he shared his struggles, his journey, basically everything that he had been through and everything that he had to do, all the work he had to do to kind of get to like, a strong mental state today, man. I loved that conversation. He even called me out too. So, with that being said, please follow, subscribe, the whole entire nine, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, wherever you consume podcasts. Trust me, we are there. And follow us on Instagram. It's at @thehotbox_pod. I got that right.
Yes.
I got it right.
Yes, you did.
Let's go. All right, cool.
See y'all next week.
See you next week.
Pound, pound.
Peace.